Mitch McConnell rips former President Trump on the Senate floor, blaming him for the Capitol riot. Trump fires back, calling McConnell a political hack. Plus, Biden communications staffer TJ Ducklo resigns after threatening a female reporter. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. I first got to make an announcement about Monday because there was no show. Nobody heard from me. People were wondering what was going on. Well, I'm in Texas. I'm one of the millions who are without power. The largest energy producing state in the entire country, one of the largest in the whole world, had no power for millions. I had no heat, no power, no internet, not even phone service, cell service, no phone, no text, completely cut off, freezing in the house. I'll have more on that on Friday, but I just want to thank you to all who checked in, and we're back ready to go. Hopefully the electricity will hold out, and we're going to start with Mitch McConnell, because as you know, on Saturday, they held the vote. Trump was acquitted. We'll get into his reaction in the next segment, but you got to wonder what was going on with Mitch McConnell, who thought it was smart to, after the vote, go on the Senate floor and blast former President Trump. I mean, think about it. Republicans are largely united. We are united in believing that there was weirdness, discrepancies, violations in the 2020 election. Pretty much united on that, and also united in the fact that this impeachment is just another bogus witch hunt that the Democrats are doing, joined by some Republicans, apparently Mitch McConnell too. Well, he thought, hey, rather than move on, rather than be united, I'm going to rip President Trump again. So he gets on the Senate floor. He mentions the Capitol riot, says it was a disgrace, and adds this.
Fellow Americans beat and bloodied our own police. They stormed the Senate floor. They tried to hunt down the Speaker of the House. They built a gallows and chanted about murdering the Vice President. They did this because they'd been fed wild falsehoods by the most powerful man on earth. Because he was angry he'd lost an election.
All right, so McConnell says that this mob in D.C. was fed falsehoods. Give me a break. You know where I stand on that. There are over 1,000 people who signed affidavits. Their voices have not been heard. And then what I target most of the time, and specifically, are the blatant election law violations in places like Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan that were never heard. They needed to be heard by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court punted. Those are real issues, not wild falsehoods. And the politics of saying that are so bad, considering that the vast majority of Republicans are on the side of President Trump and law and order and election integrity and want this investigated. McConnell says, I don't care about that. I'm going to rip the president, and here's more.
Former President Trump's actions preceded the riot were a disgraceful dereliction of duty. There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day.
So I guess it doesn't matter to McConnell that both the FBI and the Capitol Police knew there was violence planned beforehand. That's right. The FBI knew, the Capitol Police knew, they knew what was going on. So before President Trump ever said a word at the rally, people were using the rally to plan violence. It was planned in advance. And President Trump said to peacefully and patriotically let your voices be heard. He said to fight, which Democrats say all the time. It's to rally. It's to be strong for the cause you believe in. But McConnell uses that to try and score political points. I don't know with whom, and here's more.
The people who stormed this building believed they were acting on the wishes and instructions of their president. And having that belief was a foreseeable consequence of the growing crescendo of false statements, conspiracy theories, and reckless hyperbole, which the defeated president kept shouting into the largest megaphone on planet Earth.
Unreal. Most Republicans believe that there was election fraud, and Mitch McConnell basically calls them idiots. And again, I don't understand the politics of this, and I want you to jump in the comments. Why do you think Mitch McConnell did this? We could have just moved on. Impeachment is finally done. We can move on, start looking at the 2022 elections, 2024, and McConnell does this. Let me know what you think his motivation is in the comments. All right, so next, let's talk about some Trump reaction. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 150,000 subscribers, and we can do it with your help. All right, Saturday, over the weekend, you held the impeachment vote. It's done. It's finally done. Here's some of President Trump's reaction. This has been yet another phase of the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country, Trump wrote. No president has ever gone through anything like it. The Senate vote failed 57-43, ending the trial to impeach the former president. The vote failed to meet the two-thirds majority threshold needed to impeach Trump, but 7 Republicans joined the Democrats in finding the former president guilty. All right, again, 57-43. That was the vote. There's 50 Democrats in the Senate. All of them voted to convict, and 7 Republicans joined in. 7 Republicans joined in this mess, and here they are. Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Mitt Romney of Utah, Ben Sasse of Nebraska, Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, and Richard Burr of North Carolina. So, what these people are following, it's not the Constitution, it's not the will of the people, it's not the sentiment of the Republican Party. I don't know what they're doing. So, following that, President Trump put out this statement hinting that there's more to do and more to come. Our historic, patriotic, and beautiful movement to make America great again has only just begun, he wrote. In the months ahead, I have much to share with you, and I look forward to continuing our incredible journey together to achieve American greatness for all of our people. The former president noted it was a sad commentary that Democrats were given a free pass to riot, defame law enforcement, cheer on violent mobs, and excuse violence throughout the summer during the Black Lives Matter protests while trying to persecute, blacklist, cancel, and suppress him and his supporters. Well, he's absolutely right about that. And then comes President Trump's reaction to Mitch McConnell, who not only gave that floor speech, but then went into the Wall Street Journal and continued to rip the former president. Here's Trump. Trump, once an ally of the Kentucky Republican, rebuked McConnell using terms harsher than those of most Democrats. Naming McConnell a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack, Trump said the GOP would never again be respected or strong with McConnell at its helm. In Mitch's Senate, over the last 2 election cycles, I single-handedly saved at least 12 Senate seats, more than 8 in the 2020 cycle alone, and then came the Georgia disaster, where we should have won both U.S. Senate seats, but McConnell matched the Democrat offer of $2,000 stimulus checks with $600. So that's Trump, that's McConnell, and you know what? I don't think we've seen the end of this battle. Let me know what you think. So next, let's talk about Joe Biden and his communications team, because on day one, on Inauguration Day, he got all his team together and he announced this zero tolerance policy. You're going to treat people with respect. You're going to be nice to people and be polite and work together. No disrespecting at all. You will be fired on the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts. That was his policy. That's what he stated. Zero tolerance. Well, you know what? Doesn't exactly work like that. That's not exactly what happened, because on day one, there was an incident involving a staffer, and it took all the way to this weekend for it to be resolved. That's not quite on the spot, and here's the story. TJ Ducklo, Deputy Press Secretary at the White House, resigned on Saturday over an incident in which he threatened a Politico reporter. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the decision was made with the support of White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain. We are committed to striving every day to meet the standards set by the president in treating others with dignity and respect, with civility, and with a value for others through our words and our actions. Ms. Psaki said. Well, you know that statement's all bogus. It's just ridiculous because that is what did not happen. So TJ Ducklo, if you're a member of the White House, you cannot have a relationship with journalists, with reporters. It is a major conflict of interest. Well, he comes in and guess what? He does and is starting to be reported. So Tara Palmieri over at Politico was working on this story, and that's where things got crazy. And here's more. The White House had announced Friday that Mr. Ducklo would be suspended for a week without pay and that he would no longer work with Politico reporters. According to a story published Friday in Vanity Fair, Mr. Ducklo told reporter Tara Palmieri, "I will destroy you," after she started inquiring about his relationship with Axios reporter Alexei McCammond. Mr. Ducklo also made wildly offensive, sexist, and misogynist remarks to Ms. Palmieri, according to the report. So, what's interesting about all of this is that this happened on January 20th, on Inauguration Day. On that same day, as I mentioned, Biden got the whole team together and said this. I'm not joking when I say this. If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot. On the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts, Mr. Biden said. No ifs, ands, or buts. On the spot. It's mid-February now, and because of public pressure, because it was a building story, then he's finally gone. Then he finally resigns. Give me a break. All right, let's talk about Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York, because pressure is building on him over the cover-up of the COVID-19 cases when he sent people to nursing homes to infect other people. That is building. Now it's known that there was a cover-up in what was happening there. Well, former Governor George Pataki says that New York should embrace and adopt a recall system similar to what they're doing in California. And here's the story. I think it would be appropriate to take a hard look at that, Pataki 75 told the New York Post. I only think it should be used in extraordinary cases, but when you really have lost confidence in the leadership in your state, I think the opportunity should exist for the majority of the people to say we want something different. Governor Cuomo is facing fire after his aide, Melissa DeRosa, admitted to Democrats this week the administration withheld nursing home deaths data from media and lawmakers, fearing a Trump administration Justice Department investigation. Cuomo is one of 5 Democrat governors who issued a mandate to nursing homes at the start of the coronavirus pandemic to take in COVID-19 positive patients. Wow, what an absolute disaster this is. Major cover-up. Cuomo this week met with Joe Biden over at the White House. This didn't even come up. They completely ignored it. It's politics as usual for the Democrats. Folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I've got to give a special shout out. This weekend, I was helping my daughter move to Dallas, rushing through the airport in Houston, went through TSA security, and the guy there running the machine said, "I love your show." And I had to rush off because I thought I was going to miss my plane, but I want to give a special shout out to him. Please contact me in the link in the description. I'm going to send you a hat because I thought that was just the coolest thing, and I appreciate you watching the show. To the rest of you, before you go, please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.